Welcome viewers, welcome to the new lesson from Dr. Arts Biology. If you did not subscribe the channel yet, you can just click on the subscribe button and bell icon to receive notification on my new videos. In this lesson, we are going to learn about Nereis adaptations. We know that Nereis is marine, predatory, nocturnal, etc. And what are the adaptations that make the Nereis more fit for their habit and habitat? That particular session will be handled in this particular video. If you did not watch the part A of the Nereis that is already being uploaded, you have to first go and watch that particular video which is discussing the Nereis morphology and general characters. Then only you have to watch here, otherwise you will be having confusion. So better you watch the Annelida characters and then Nereis morphology and general characters. Then only you have to come here and watch this video. Then only you will understand the concept well. And this is a book that we have referred for the preparing this particular lesson. This particular lesson discusses the adaptations of Nereis in three aspects. The first one is the adaptation that is gained through parapodia. And second one is the adaptation for osmoregulation. Third one, the adaptations for its predaceous habit. So we can see the first one, the adaptations that is gained through parapodia. We know that we have discussed already about parapodia in the morphology lesson. So parapodia helps in locomotion, sensory function and respiration. Let us see how it will be working. We know that parapodia are fleshy, lobular, macular, lateral processes of the body that is composed of two lobes. So it is known as the biramus condition, namely notopodium and neuropodium. So the two lobes are named as notopodium and neuropodium. The notopodium will be the upper part and the neuropodium will be the lower part. In other ways, we can say that anterior portion will be notopodium and the posterior portion will be neuropodium. So this is the neuropodium and this one is the notopodium. The notopodium is provided with bundles of chitinous bristles called setae or otherwise known as the chaetae. And we know that the notopodium is mainly concerned with helping in the swimming and crawling movement. So notopodium is mainly concerned with the locomotion, which can be the crawling and swimming movements. And the neuropodium, we know that it is sensory in action. Neuropodium is rich in nerve endings and bears several sensory filaments called neuropodial cirri or ventral cirrus. You can see here the neuropodial cirri. So this is the neuropodial cirri. And we know that the lobes of parapodia are richly supplied with the blood with the help of enormous amount of network of capillaries. So these capillaries, when it passes the blood, will be exchanging gases and thus it helps in the respiration process. So the respiration process is made advanced with the addition of respiratory function of the parapodia in addition to the general body surface. As these parapodia are involved in respiration, we can see that parapodia is otherwise known as the food gills. We know that the gills are the respiratory structures which helps in the respiration of aquatic organisms. So here the food is functioning like that and therefore it will be known as the food gill. So you will be getting question in multiple choice part, the parapodia otherwise known as or the food gills are or the food gills are present in. Such questions will be coming in the multiple choice questions, so you have to remember this particular thing. So we can see here in this figure the blood capillaries that we have already seen in the morphology and discussed in detail about this particular structures. So you have to remember that in addition to the parapodia, general body surface is also richly vascular and that also helps in the gaseous exchange. So now let us see the osmoregulation. So adaptations which are involved for the osmoregulation. So we can see that Nereis is stenohaline osmoregulator. Do you remember what is meant by the stenohaline? There are two conditions as far as the regulation is concerned, the steno and uri. It can be stenothermic, eurythermic, it can be stenohalane, euryhalane, etc. So stenohalane means if an organism can regulate that particular condition or the salinity, or it can survive in a salinity of a small range, then it will be known as the stenohalane. So the Nereis is a stenohalane osmoregulator as it can withstand only narrow range of variations in the osmotic and ionic concentrations. There are euryhalane organisms. That means they can survive in the large range of variation in the osmotic and ionic concentration. So you have to keep in mind what is meant by steno and eury. This comparison will be asked as 2-mark question. So you can see in this figure, the graph, the first one is the eury condition, the euryhalane condition, and the second one is having a steep appearance in the graph. It is nothing but the stenohalane condition. So you can see that in euryhalane a large range is there, and in case of the stenohalane a very small range of salinity variation can be survived by this particular organism. Now next thing is the body fluid of Nereis is always hyperosmotic in condition, or we can say that they are having hypertonic blood. Hypertonic means we can see that if the concentration of salt in a particular solution is high compared to the other, it will be known as the hypertonic solution. So here we can see that the body fluid of Nereis contains higher concentration of salt than its outer environment, than the marine water. So that is what I mean by the hyperosmotic or hypertonic body fluid. So why this particular hypotonic condition is maintained? Otherwise, what will happen? If marine environment is having larger salt concentration compared to the body fluid of Nereis, Nereis will be losing water to the marine environment. As a result, it will be getting damaged. Its system will be getting damaged due to lack of water. That is avoided by maintaining the hyperosmotic condition. Now let us see what are the main factors which support Nereis to maintain the hyperosmotic condition. So first one is the rich concentration of calcium ions. The presence of rich concentration of calcium ions block the water from outside to enter into the body. As a result, higher concentration of water inside and therefore reduction in the hypertonic condition is avoided. So calcium ions, presence of calcium ions makes the body wall impermeable to water. As a result, entry of water from the marine ecosystem into the body is prevented. Thus, it can maintain the hypertonic condition inside. Now we can see that as a result of metabolism, we can see, we hope you remember the electron transport chain that you have learned in grade 12, respiration in plants part. So in that you can see that in the electron transport chain, last step is the acceptance of electron by the oxygen. When oxygen absorbs the electron, it will also absorb proton. As a result, water will be formed finally. So metabolism is resulting in the formation of water. So that water will be changing the hyperosmotic condition inside the body of Nereis. So to avoid that particular water, the nephridia will be playing a role. So nephridia will be removing the excess amount of water that is gained through metabolism. Thus, hyperosmotic condition is maintained inside. That is the second thing. Now, the third thing, internal ionic concentration is maintained by absorption of chloride ions from the outside. So its water entry is prevented, accumulation of water inside the body is prevented, and at the same time, the concentration of salt is increased by absorbing chloride ions from the outer environment into the body. And also during the excretion part through the nephridia, maximum reabsorption of salt will be taking place. And these facts is the main concern by which the Nereis is adapted for osmoregulation, and also it is adapted to maintain its hyperosmotic condition. Also, you have to remember one more thing in addition to these three. The Nereis is amonotelic in nature. We know that amonotelic nature is actually mean for using large amount of water and using less amount of energy for excretion. So it is gaining energy through ammonotelism, and also it is removing excess water through ammonotelism. That is also an adaptation which can be considered under the osmoregulation. So osmoregulation, you have to keep in mind, Nereis is stenohaline in nature. It can survive in a very narrow variation in the salinity. It is maintaining hyperosmotic body fluid, is mainly through prevention of water entry by presence of large amount of calcium, removal of excess water through nephridia, absorption of chloride ions from the environment, and maximum reabsorption of salt from the excretory fluid when it is passing through the nephridia. And through ammonotelic excretion, excess amount of water is removed. So these are the factors by which Nereis is maintaining the osmoregulation. Now let us see how it is helpful, how it is adapted for the predaceous habit. In case of predaceous habit, we can see that the Nereis is heavily equipped with the proboscis or introvert. Proboscis or introvert is nothing but the part of the buccal cavity and pharynx that can be everted out, that can be protruded out, and that kind of structure is known as the proboscis or introvert. So it is heavily equipped with the cutting jaws and all. As a result, it can easily seize and swallow the prey. So heavily armed proboscis or introvert plays a significant role to seize and swallow the prey, and therefore its predaceous habit. Now second thing, there are specialized sense organs present in the Nereis, which is nothing but the prostomial pulp, which are tactile, olfacto, and gustatoreceptor, which helps in the sensory perception in terms of tactile, that means touch, olfacto, smell, and gustato, taste. Now prostomial and peristomial tentacles. You can see here the prostomial and peristomial tentacle. These are nothing but the tactile receptors. And there are nuptial organs which are acting as the chemoreceptor to sense the chemical signals. And the prostomial eyes are light sensitive in nature. So it's heavily equipped with the sense organs, and as a result it can easily enjoy the active life and predaceous habit. Now how it is maintaining the energy, how it is saving the energy. It's through the ammonotelic excretion. As I told you, in case of the osmoregulation, ammonotelic excretion helps to maintain or helps to remove the excess amount of water from the body, because we know that ammonia is toxic, and as a result, in order to remove ammonia through excretion, it requires large amount of water to dilute it. So excess amount of water will be removed through ammonotelic excretion. So that is not our concern here. Here energy saving is the main concern. So we can see that ammonia, when it is converted into uric acid or urea, etc., it needs energy. That energy can be saved if it is excreted through ammonia itself. So it is maintaining the energy, or it is saving the energy, and that is also supporting its predaceous habit or carnivorous habit. So these are the main adaptations of Nereis. So you have to revise it 1 or 2 times, then it will be kept in your mind for permanently. So that are the topics that is discussed in this particular lesson. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe Dr. R's Biology. Thank you. Thank you so much.